So now we've got the API connector creating new events. Let's work it into a pop-up in our app. So let's pop back into the editor and we're going to add in another button. And I'm just going to put all of these things into a row so we take up less space. Move this one to the very end. Yeah, and we'll call it AddEvent. And so this is going to show a pop-up. I'm not going to spend too long styling it. Just put a little bit basic layout padding in there. And we're going to have one input for the title, and then we'll have a date time input for the start date. Now, I'm only going to put the start date in. You can, of course, add in additional parameters, and you can check the AddEvent documentation for how to do that. I'm just doing this as quickly as I can, so the video doesn't get too long, and basically, it's going to make it an hour long because it's just going to default assume that the end date is an hour later. I'm just going to change the format so it's a little bit clearer to me, at least being British and wanting my dates in a certain order, and then I'm going to add a create button. So what happens? Well, when the button is clicked, we need to send a request to the API, create event. And remember, we need our start date in this exact format. So I'm going to start by filling in the title. In fact, I'm going to go back to my pop-up and title of event, because that way it updates the internal labeling system in Bubble. So it just makes it easier. I'll go back to here to find title of event, and that's helpful because I think I use title as the placeholder for the calendar as well. Now the calendar ID, so this is current user calendar ID, and then start date is going to be date time picker as a value. Now we have to make sure we format it exactly as it wants, and it doesn't give us a preset that lays out how AddEvent wants it. So we have to write it out ourselves. So year is quite simple, and I've already forgotten which for month, day, hours, fine. And it's separated by hyphens. So then we go MMM. Now we have to make sure that MMM lowercase is months, whereas MM uppercase, I'm just checking the time in the top right of my Mac, is minutes. So months, DTD for day. I'm checking this as I go along. And then it wants a space, and now it wants hours. So I can tell you that I'm not recording this at 3 in the morning. This is 3 in the afternoon. And so I'm going to check the documentation here again. And it looks like it has to be 24 hour because there's nowhere specifying if it's AM or PM. So I'm going to try capitals. Yeah, 15. That's it. Colon. And remember that's month. So capitals for minutes. Going to close that, and then we want to hide the pop-up. Let's try that. So I've made a big mistake here. Big mistake. Not a big mistake. This should be the create button. What have I done here? When that button is clicked, we create the event. When AddEvent is clicked, we show the pop-up. Sorry, I'm not on the ball now. Not at all. Right, let's try that. So, shows the pop-up. So we'll call this custom event. And then let's say today. And I've not even got I've not even got the time on my date picker. let's try that. Add event. So we'll call this custom event. And then, yeah, we'll say today at 4:30 create. Sends the API call. Now, this is something you might have to work out. It's because I'm embedding it. It doesn't seem like it updates automatically. So I'm actually going to add in a page refresh action there. So when we don't need to hide the pop-up. I'm just going to add in refresh the page preview. Let's add in an event tomorrow. We'll call it event 2. Okay, and there we go, it's added to the page. Now, I tried to show the most straightforward way of going about this. Although when I have used AddEvent in the past, I've basically used it to mirror events that I've got in Bubble. So instead of embedding the AddEvent calendar straight in my Bubble app, I've had a data type called events. And I basically had to have some mirror operations workflows going on. That each time an event is added in my Bubble app, I make that event in AddEvent. And my reason in that instance for using AddEvent is I wanted to provide users with a calendar subscription. And I'm going to demo what I think is going to let me do that right away. So yeah, with the calendar embedded in, I can just click on here, and then this would open, if I clicked it, my calendar app on my Mac, and I'd be able to subscribe to this calendar. And then this is why AddEvent is so powerful. I would see these events and anything that I've associated with those events in my calendar. I'm going to record one final part to this mini-series, and that's going to be basically if you go down that route I was just saying. What if you're creating events as a data type in Bubble, and you're just mirroring those into AddEvent because all you want to use AddEvent for is to provide a calendar subscription feed?